the Morning X 99X and the original 99X. My name is Barnes. I've been here holding down the ship all alone, but now it's time to reveal one more recognizable human being to hang and work with me. Now, what I told 99X was this co-host had to be recognizable. This co-host had to have a personality, had to be creative, and had to have at least double-digit Grammys. See, I mean, I'm really not demanding at all. Like, don't believe what the people say. I'm just giving you the facts. So I went through all the resumes. I worked so hard to cull and look at each candidate, and here's who I've settled on. I want to first start with their musical resume before I give a formal introduction. I'm going to take you through this person's career very quickly so you have an idea of what we're working with. Here is Exhibit A. All right, so there's Exhibit A, and I think you're feeling it. Here's Exhibit B. Oh, you know that. All right, you're getting the feeling that this person is qualified and is creative. How about this one? Universal. He's had several bands, several opportunities, and then he went solo. You might know this one. I say everything. Yeah, when I say nothing. I say everything. They put me down in the lazaretto. Born rotten. Making models of people I used to know. Out of coffee and cotton. See, it was important that they had all type of diverse musical vibes, like maybe this one. Early in the morning time. Late in the middle of the night, whenever this chill comes over me, I wanna hug you with all of my might. That's right, and I'm sweating. Oh. So you get the vibe. This person is highly qualified, and please, ladies and gentlemen, I will now introduce to you the brand new co-host for the Morning X, Mr. Jack White. Dude! My brother.
I kind of want to high five you, but I am not. No one had told me anything about being a co-host of anything.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, they just said it was a radio.
I went through this whole thing, and they said that you were going to until we got our permanent host.
I don't have. I would not have enough time for that. I wish I could. I really wish I could.
Jack, I mean, I know you've got a busy. Do you have anyone in mind? Do you know anyone that we could pull in just for until the permanent host is ready?
I see someone across the room I think might be perfect for this.
Who is that? Get her in. Hey, bring.
Come on in.
What?
Hello.
Leslie Fram. What?
You weren't going to make Jack work, were you?
I was trying. Come on. I mean, we put the whole job listing out. He applied, and I didn't realize he was just going to be a guest. So hold on. Now you went from being our first co-host to our first guest.
Yes.
I love it.
Excellent.
We have such history with you, and this is really special, so thank you, being our first musical guest.
Leslie.
What?
This is about you. You're back.
I'm
about to walk out of here.
I'm back. No, you're not going anywhere.
But you're filling in until the permanent host is here. So thank you, and we'll chat later, but all eyes on Mr. White.
This is amazing.
You just did these shows in Nashville, I know, at your place at Third Man, which is so freaking cool. I bought the T-shirt. I bought the T-shirt.
Thank you.
And the sticker.
Thank you.
If I were a rock star, which would never happen in a million years, but if I was like a huge rock star, I would want to find the coolest places just to show up and play. And I know that's your thing. Like, what drives you to want to do that? Like, is it the surprise or
the nice thing? That is a nice thing to be able to do, to be able to kind of
cool
to play in different venues and get those different experiences, because they're all different. It's really different to play at a festival and different to play at an arena and different to play at a bar. And I've always gravitated to the ones where I can really, the intimate ones have always spoken to me the most. But really, the really most interesting thing over the years has been just the ability to try to create new places for those things to happen, to create the third band records in Nashville and in Detroit and in London, where other bands can play and do things and make art and commune with everybody. So that's been even more enjoyable than actually me, myself, playing at places.
But what's the coolest, most random one where you're like, you know what, I want to do a gig there? And you just...
Goodness. Well, we had one in Chicago a few weeks ago, and that was great, the Empty Bottle. And so we played there a lot coming up in the Van Days and with the White Stripes and a lot, the Detroit garage rock scene. That was another very close gig by that we could get, So that place meant a lot to me. And it was nice because we went there, me and Olivia Jean, my wife, we slept above the venue. We spent the night above the venue. There's an apartment up there now for bands, so that was really nice.
I'll tell you the one that I
never spent
loved.
the night there before.
Oh, that's cool. I'll tell you the one that I loved. When I lived in New York and I was working with Matt Pinfield,
Yeah.
we did you did the pop-up store
Yes.
in New York. We made Matt wear the outfit and
Yes,
work.
yes.
But then you did this last-minute show for like 90 people. And we were all it
That's
was
what I'm talking
incredible.
about.
Yes.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
When you were growing up seeing music, did you ever get to see one of your favorite bands in a small venue?
Oh my goodness! Well, I had a couple of cool things that happened as I was a busboy at this restaurant in the Fox Theater in Detroit when I was a teenager. So when I was about 16, I walked over on my break and got to watch the Black Crowes sound check, and nobody kicked me out of the theater. I watched the whole thing. They ever kicked me, and the drummer came over and shook my hand as he walked by and everything. So that was really an
cool.
amazing thing for a teenager. In Detroit, the chances of you having that kind of experience were kind of rare. So that was kind of nice.
Have you ever played Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta?
No, I don't think so.
It's a tiny little room that holds like 100 people.
Okay.
And we had David Bowie in there one time, which is when I think about seeing, that wasn't growing up. I mean, that was before he
Yeah.
died, 10 years probably before he
Came in
died.
and did our show and played like 5 songs for about 100 fans.
Unreal.
Oh, that's incredible.
Such an icon sitting there in a small room. It was just really surreal.
Yeah.
So the tour, I love the name of the tour, by the way, Supply Chain Issues Tour, which really talks about a lot of things, right? Between not only vinyl, but people getting back on tour after the pandemic. But you've played all over the world. Have you played some regions for the first time on this tour?
Yeah, well, one is in Asia. I'd never played Asia
Incredible.
in my life. So we went to places, every city was a place I'd never been before. And it was Manila, Philippines, Bangkok, and Vietnam, and Seoul, Korea. And so every place we went, I'd never been to. And it was an amazing experience. The first show was in the Philippines, and I think we were supposed to go on at 7 o'clock. And, 20 minutes before the show started, I looked out in the venue. There was nobody in the venue.
Wow.
And, they don't sell my records a lot over in these places, and I've never been there. And, so we had no idea what to expect. Maybe there would only be 10 people at shows. But it was just more of a cultural thing where, like, no, the show starts at 7, so they'll be here at 7. It was just...
That's a trip.
They're like,
Interesting.
okay. And then they came we pushed the show back 15 minutes because we didn't know what was going on. So the crowd came at 7 o'clock, all en masse.
Fascinating.
If you're just tuning in, this is my new co-host, Jack White.
No.
I'm sorry. He already recruited someone, Leslie Fram, to fill in for just a little bit. Talking supply, it made me think of the whole shortage in getting records out there, which I know you're a big proponent of, and you have record stores.
Yeah.
And what is it for someone who is not sonically involved like that? What is the difference between having the album and having a digital version? What is it that draws you to the vinyl?
Mostly it's the involvement. I mean, you get to really be a part of it, pulling the record out of the sleeve, placing it on the turntable, putting the needle down, turning it on, watching it revolve, and being in control of the tone and the volume. You're really a part of the sort of living room performance of the record. It's such a different scenario. When the side is done, you have to pick up the needle and flip it over. And, you're a part of it. And I think there's also a thing that's kind of romantic about, I think, things that are moving, like a campfire, the movement of fire that tracks us. We just can't help but watch it. The movement of a record, and the movement of cassettes even. The first
That's
time
true.
first format we kind of really didn't really see it was maybe a little 8-track and then CD, where you didn't really see anything moving. You could maybe see a digital number moving. But there's something about the actual movement, I think, that has a lot to do with the romance of it.
What was your first record you bought?
I do remember skipping school when I was ninth grade, and I went downtown to Detroit. This place called Harmony House was a record store in Detroit, and I bought the Beatles' White Album.
That's funny you say that because I bought Abbey Road.
Did you really?
Mine
That's
was Van Halen 1. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
But we have to congratulate you and your team for single-handedly being responsible for this vinyl resurgence and how but it wasn't overnight. I mean, you've been doing this for so long, and just the fact that you have this store and you've got Detroit and now London, it's really a testament to what you and your team have done.
Thank you so much. I'm just excited. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. It's just amazing that also now we're at the zone years later where pop singers are really grabbing hold of it and doing tons of variants, and that makes it really interesting. And there's just more pressing plants are opening every month. I hear news of another plant opening, so that's good news.
Entering Heaven Alive, one of his 2 albums that came out last year. I really dig the record.
Thank you so much.
So good.
It really has connected with different audiences everywhere too. And there's 2 different sonic things: a really heavy record and a really quiet, vibey record. So I'm glad that people are finding something that speaks to them.
It's totally, the sounds that you continue to innovate with blow me away.
Oh, man.
Dude, you just keep coming. It's like you're going to run out of sounds at some point.
Never.
Seriously. But thank you for your very short tenured hosting here.
It was fun while it lasted.
It was fun while it lasted.
Compete with Leslie. You're in good hands now.
But you're now a Jeopardy question. Who was the first guest ever on the Morning X version 2.0?
Yes.
All right, Jack White. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Leslie Fram, we've got work to do. You've got a job now, at least
Jack.
filling in until the new co-host is revealed. Thank you.
All right.
We'll be right back. It's Jack White. This is the original 99X.